about to leave. Already packing, come with me. I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know.
Hello to everybody. Today we are working with the Patrick Ta palette, the Major Dimension 2. This is more of a rosy, warm colored brown tone palette. And I decided to do a smoky eye today. And instead of an eye primer, I wanted to try this like cream formula. And this is technically an eye primer. It comes in the palette. And let me tell you right now, I applied way too much. It was very hard to matte it down. I tried using the darkest shade in the palette first, and I let it sit for a while, and I still had to go back in with powder after, which you'll see shortly. So I am doing my eyes first because I was afraid of fallout, but actually because I used the cream formula in the palette, it didn't happen. So, I mean, that was definitely one benefit of using that first. So I'm going in with my Makeup Forever Artist Color Pencil in Dimensional Dark Brown, and I'm lining the water lines on the top and the bottom. Technically, when you line the top, it's called tight line. You're basically getting the color in between the lashes to make the lash line look darker. But I'm also using this on the lower lash line as well. And I really smudge it out with the shadow. And it is the perfect brown shade to apply for a smoky brown eyeshadow look. It's just so beautiful. So now I'm going in with the rest of the face. So obviously I have not finished the eyes yet, but we're going to prime the face with my Caliray So Blown Primer. I rub this all over the face, and then we're going in with foundation. So foundation, I started off with Kosas and soon realized it was way too yellow for this look. And I went in with the Yves Saint Laurent Touche Eclait Teint Foundation in BD40. This is really, I do notice it's like darker than my neck, but it like the texture of it is just spectacular. It is, I would have to say definitely buildable coverage, and I only need a little bit. I used to think that I needed a lot of foundation, but honestly, this stuff covers amazing, and it just makes your skin gleam. It's beautiful. Probably wouldn't recommend it for people with oily skin though. So I do give a quick setting spray after foundation just to really make it blend and really make it, I don't know, a little bit more seamless. So I'm using my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray right here. And then we go in with concealer. So I decided to use the Tower 28 concealer because I could not find my Kosas, like my favorite color. So this is the color it is today. And the color is great. I think this is a light neutral, but it is the texture of this that I'm not quite sold on yet. I haven't really used it enough, and Kosas is definitely my favorite for non-creasing. Next, we go in with powder. So back to the Huda Beauty. This is the pressed palette powder in Pound Cake, and I put this all over my face. It is amazing. Probably my favorite powder to date. I mean, I've tried a lot of powders in the last, like, I don't know how long I've been doing my makeup, but professional powders, probably the last 5 years, definitely really good. So then my lips were dry, so I went in with my Jeffree Star lip gloss. I cannot remember the name of this, but it's like the light pink sparkly color, my favorite lip gloss ever. And my daughter basically destroyed this one. She like put it all under her bed. It was really gross. So next I'm going on with brows. I decided to show you guys the full brow routine because it is sped up, so it's not like it takes terribly long. It doesn't take me long anyway. It's actually pretty quick. And I try not to overdo my brows. Sometimes I do for more dramatic eye looks, but this case I try to keep it pretty natural. So I go in with my Brow Whiz from Anastasia. This is medium brown, and then I top it with my Benefit 24-hour brow gel, and that's just to keep everything in place. I don't have super bushy brows, but I do have a few strays that kind of like to stick up right at the front of each brow, so it really does help to maintain the eye look for the rest of the night. Okay, so after this, I believe I go in with my, I don't know if I'm doing liner next or if I do contour next. Let's wait and see. So we are doing, going back to the eyes, it looks like. So I noticed that they still look kind of gleamy, and you can tell like it's definitely a little shiny on the eye. And when that happens, the shadow product will definitely crease, and it will also transfer to like underneath your brow, and that's something that you don't want. So I go in and mattify it with my powder. And this kind of gives it more of a definitely muted look. It's not as red, but I do go back in with some of the lighter tones and you'll see me blow it out and it looks just great. So I am going in with more of a red tone now, and I'm just dabbing this in the crease just to be able to blend it up. I'm also applying this underneath the lash line, so I'm really blending in with that dark brown liner on the waterline. And then I'm using the two lighter shades in the palette to really blend this out. You'll see in a bit here, I do go in with a clean brush because usually a clean brush and then blending it out with face powder is honestly like the best way to blend anything out. Unless you're doing some type of challenge where you're trying to use like all in one palette. I don't usually do that. I usually mix it up. I either use two different palettes or I'll use my powder. But you can see here, I'm just really trying to make everything blend, everything seamless. And when it comes down to it, I feel like, I mean, you can tell I've got shadow on my eye, but I feel like it's definitely more natural looking than it would be if you just had a big dark blob of color on your eye. So I feel like I did a really good job of blending things out. So I think this is the clean brush now, and I'm using the powder, and it just, you know, it really makes it seamless. I really like how this look turned out. Okay, so I'm going in with my liner now, I believe. Let's see. Liner, yeah, I'm using the Fenty Beauty Black Liquid Liner. This is definitely not my favorite liner, but for this look, I just really made a thick line. Helps the eyelashes to adhere better, and it also gives the smoky eye a little bit more of a dark sexiness, especially in a dark shadow look. It's nice to have a really thick black line. Okay, and then I believe I go in with my contour. So I decided to use my Kat Von D Shade and Light Contour Palette. This is a super old palette, you guys, and I know you cannot find this anymore, so I do apologize, but I really like it. It kind of went with the shadow palette that she had done before the relaunch, the KVD brand, and I really enjoyed that palette too. I still have that one, as a matter of fact. So I'm adding some contour to all of my places where I normally do, under the lip, underneath the jawline, the cheekbones, the temples, the forehead, and the nose. And this gives your face some contour. I mean, it gives your face some character, right? Instead of just being a blank canvas, you've got some room to make shape and create shadows and highlight points. So I definitely recommend if you have a dark shadow look such as this. Okay, and then for blush, I did decide to go in with the Pat McGrath and Bridgerton Collab Blushing Delights Blush Palette. I am obsessed with this palette. Despite the cheap packaging, the product is still amazing. Okay, and now I'm not sure if at this point I go in and do mascara and lashes, but for mascara, I'm using the L'Oreal Voluminous Carbon Black Mascara. I love that. It's like my favorite mascara ever. Lashes are the Cala Lash, the style Cashmere. I do not know if you can find them anymore, but I did find them from, I believe it was Marshalls or Winners. But alas, I go in with my highlighter palette. So again, my favorite highlighter palette, Mary Lou by the Balm. And I'm just touching up all the high points of my face. And I do go in with my clean brush and I just blend that out a bit to make sure that it's not too razzle-dazzle in your face. Because again, I'm trying to look not necessarily natural, but definitely like I know what I'm doing. Okay, so as soon as we're done the mascara and the lashes here, things end pretty quick. So I just want to say thank you guys so much for checking out today's video. Give the video a thumbs up. If you're new, please subscribe, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Already packing, come with me. I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know.